I quit alcohol, and it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. I thought I'd make a video to share my journey in case somebody out there wanted to quit drinking alcohol as well, and to let you know why I wanted to quit drinking, how I quit drinking, some of the challenges, and some of the benefits. I quit drinking really because of my lichen sclerosus. But even before I was diagnosed with lichen sclerosus, I was having, I was a social drinker. But social drinking for me was maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I would have happy hour. That would be about 1 to 2 drinks each night. And my drink of choice was whiskey, um, rye. So I would have a rye and Coke those nights. And it wasn't taking me much to get a buzz. I could have 2 drinks and I was feeling a big buzz. And I felt like I was missing some of my evening, when I was feeling that buzz. I wasn't enjoying that buzz as much as I say I would have when I was much younger. So I felt like my evenings were on the nights that I was having a drink were just kind of wasting away. It was just time not well spent. I didn't even feel like I was relaxing because of just the way I was feeling. With the lichen sclerosus, I got to a point. I talked in some previous videos about managing flares, my worst flare, and I knew I had to make some decisions. When, even before lichen sclerosus, when I went through menopause, the sleep was not great. And I had heard somebody say, if you choose to drink, you choose not to sleep. And that kind of hit home for me. So that was a big reason, sleep wise. So I had thought about it for quite a while. I think what do they call it? Dry January. I had thought about it over like a few years. I knew people who were doing dry January and they were able to get through it. I really was worried that I was going to miss out on something. It's the whole social aspect. And even when I was having a stressful day at work, I would come home, I'd have a drink, and sometimes that would be on top of the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And so I did recognize like, this is just not really a great pattern. This is not something I want to continue to do. And again, the big factor was my lichen sclerosus, my overall health, and just managing um, the symptoms of lichen sclerosus and managing the menopause symptoms of the night sweats and the hot flashes. Sleep was awful. Again, thought about it for quite a while. So what helped? What I did, I really had to plan. So if I'm not drinking a rye and Coke on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, what am I going to drink? I was drinking sparkling water. I was drinking, mainly it was a lot of sparkling water. Like I started drinking, what's it called, bubbly. And not that I was crazy about it, but it was something, right? Um, I'm not a big juice drinker. I've never really liked juice. I just haven't enjoyed it. And because of that, I think I don't enjoy mocktails. So I wasn't replacing, which I guess is a bonus. I wasn't replacing the alcohol with a bunch of sugar. Um, I do drink a lot of sparkling water. Compliments from Safeway makes a good sparkling water. I like, it's almost like I like that the best out of any of them I've had. I do watch out for maybe those artificial sweeteners. You can't always get away with that. I think with the bubbly you can and some other ones, but I just haven't tried them. So yeah, it was some planning. What am I going to drink? A lot of support from my husband. My husband was very good in his support, recognizing that I had to do this, one, for my overall health. So he was okay with that. Was it a bit of a change? Yeah, it was a change for both of us. But it got to the point where he would have a drink and I would have like my sparkling water, or I would sometimes just have some Coke. And I know Coke is not the best, but it's better than alcohol. And when I do have say a Coke or a Diet Coke or whatever pop I'm drinking, I'm not drinking a lot of it. I'm just having a little bit of it. And when I did talk to the dietitian, that I did see a dietitian to manage my lichen sclerosus symptoms, she far recommended, say, a little bit of pop compared to the alcohol. Full disclosure, I still do drink like a tiny bit of alcohol. So when I say that, I can't remember um, when was the last time I had a drink. I honestly can't remember. I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago. We had company and I had just like a little bit of, it wasn't a rye. I think maybe I had a little bit of red wine. So I will have like a drink. I want to say I would have one drink maybe every couple of months, depending on, what we're doing. And I don't feel guilty about that. I don't feel guilty about that. We did have a death in the family. That was about 4 or 5 months ago. And I do have to say, I was drinking a little bit more. But when I say a little bit more, I kind of went back to that drink. My family would always tease me because I would have like a drink, which would be like an ounce. And then I would have a half an ounce. So they would always laugh at me because they would always say, somebody would say, you're going to have another drink, make it a half. So that was always the going joke. And not that I started drinking a lot more, but I had about 2 or 3 nights where I had a drink, like a drink every night. And one night I actually had, I had a drink and then I had two drinks and I had to stop at, say, a quarter of that second drink. I just was not enjoying it. Life was a little bit stressful. So when we had been out of town, we got back, I was having, again, the same kind of pattern, just one, maybe one and a half. And I was just like, oh, this is not good. I don't want to get back into that old pattern. So that's kind of like, that was how I was drinking. That is what I did to stop drinking. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure. So some of the challenges, there's pressure from other people to drink. People don't like to feel uncomfortable. They don't like change. They don't want to drink alone. They're not used to having somebody not drink with them. And when I say that, though, I'm not talking like a big party. I'm even talking just with friends, family members. You get into that pattern. You get together, you have a social drink. And that's hard. That was hard for me. That was hard for them. But after I continued, so it's probably been about a year, after I continued that, everybody just kind of accepted it and they know I'm not going to have a drink. So that's, it takes a while. Change is hard, right? Change is hard, but it does happen. And it's okay to say no. Just say no. You don't have to give an explanation. That is that's one thing I really had to learn, is I can say no, no, thank you. And I don't have to give an explanation. I can just, and if somebody pressures me into, why are you not? I'm just choosing not to. I don't want to. Yeah. And just leave it at that. And that's worked for me. So the benefits is definitely the sleep is better. I wasn't sure at first, is my sleep better? But I think it took a while to kind of realize, yeah, my sleep has been better. Do I have great sleeps every night? Absolutely not. With menopause, after 50, now that I'm turning 60, sleep is just not as great, but it is better. It is much better. I would never go back. What else? I feel like I have a clear mind. I feel like I have a clear mind. I, I I don't enjoy that buzz. I don't chase that buzz. I wasn't enjoying that buzz. So for me, maybe that was helpful when I was choosing to quit. Um, I'm saving money. I mean, really, that's not why I quit, but we probably are saving money because we're not drinking. When we go out to a restaurant, I'm not having a drink. I did feel a little awkward at first. Like I felt like, when you go out for a nice meal, I felt like I should be ordering something to drink. And one time I did order a mocktail. I think it cost me like well over $10. I can't remember the price. And again, I'm not a juice drinker, so I didn't enjoy it. I'm like, why? Why would I order something that I'm not going to enjoy just because I feel like I should? So I don't. I will have water. if I'm at a restaurant. And, you know, in the afternoon, I'm drinking tea or coffee. Speaking of tea, I'm having some afternoon tea. This was a part of my retirement gift when I retired from my position. So yeah, retired doing what I want when I want. Not all the time, but for the majority of the time. Um, and I'm drinking maple tea that I picked up from Niagara Falls. We went to Niagara Falls, Canada. That was back in April. That was my first trip there. And I didn't drink at all. So yes, what else? I feel like I have a clear mind. I have no lost energy. I do like to, you know, I enjoy my walking. I do work out. I do Pilates. I do some strength training. I do some step aerobics. I feel like I'm not losing time with that. And I feel like when I'm doing my activities during the day, I've got all of my energy. I'm focused. I'm not feeling sluggish. Like I didn't like feeling sluggish. And you know, one thing that I feel like has been really beneficial is I feel like I'm a good role model for my daughters and my granddaughters. And not that that wasn't even a thought when I first wanted to quit drinking, but I'm really glad I did. You know, last weekend we had the granddaughters here. I was able to go to the public swimming pool with my granddaughter, be in the pool, enjoy my time. I didn't have to think about drinks or missing out on drinks. So I wanted everybody to know that's that is my story of quitting alcohol. I thought it was going to be a lot harder. And it sounds hard. The thought of it was really hard. But once I started, it really wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. And I'm really happy with my choice. I feel like it was a really good decision for me. You may have your own reasons for wanting to quit drinking. You may maybe have been thinking about it for a while. So really plan for it. Plan ahead. Have on hand what you're going to drink. When I think about, say, the pros and cons or the benefits, and say maybe not so beneficial, I can't think of any cons of quitting alcohol. Honestly, like for myself, it's all been beneficial. There's been lots of pros and no cons. Like honestly, there hasn't been any cons. I hope you found this video helpful. Again, my name is Dawn and I am semi-retired and I have lichen sclerosus. So please and I'm going to hold this up because please please comment. Have you quit drinking? Do you want to quit drinking? What are you struggling with in regards to that decision? And please subscribe. I hope to create some more content for those individuals who are retired, for those individuals who do have lichen sclerosus, or just for the general population who are watching. Happy Friday.